and there's some interesting things happening in Moldova right now. Recently, Igor Dodon was elected president. He went to Moscow, and one of the things that reverberated from that meeting in the Romanian media landscape was the so-called present of a map, the Moldova Mare, the Great Moldova map, which was gifted by President Putin to President Dodon. How would you qualify that gift?
I don't believe that it was Moldova Mare. It was just a map, a medieval map of Moldovan Principality, which really existed, and it is a fact of history. I believe that this souvenir was a gesture to show that our relations are deeply rooted in history. And some documents related to that history, they are present in our archives.
So you're saying we shouldn't make more of this gesture?
Yes, evidently. You shouldn't make any more conclusions that it is in the fact of handing over of a historical document from archives, which is, I believe, for Moldovans would be very good to keep in their museum.
Because here in Bucharest was perceived as a gesture of offense.
If there are people who want to isolate Russia, I would tell that I'm sorry for them, because their efforts will be in vain. You remember a relatively recent story about former President Obama calling Russia a regional power. And you remember that our president just asked what region did he mean. Baltics, Black Sea, Central Asia, Far East, Arctic. In our country, we have a rather strict presidential, if you like, structure of foreign policy. President is the person, the figure which formulates our foreign policy. And only a limited number of people, they should be perceived as people presenting that policy officially. Otherwise, you should abandon the vision of Russia as a kind of a authoritarian, anti-democratic society where alternative point of view or points of view, they are forbidden.
I always had a feeling Moldova is a strip of land in between a great empire and a wounded nation. How do you see the future of this region, going to the east or going to the west?
After the Soviet Union was dismantled, we found ourselves on the European continent with no that former ideological antagonistic confrontation between the so-called socialist camp and capitalist camp, Western camp, Eastern camp. We saw that European Union feels comfortable to expand more and more towards our borders. Nowadays, Moldova, as other post-Soviet republics, it is an independent sovereign state. It has to choose, and the best choice, to my mind, as a fact of historically established ties and as a fact of new realities coming, is not to antagonize, not to oppose integration in the West to the integration in the East. It is Brussels which imposes that option, if you like, or that, I would say, diktat to choose. Why? Russia never opposed to those acts. The only thing that Russia always repeats is that if you sign that agreement, which has as an integral part in it so-called profound and comprehensive free trade zone, that means that Moldova and Ukraine became free trade zone with the European Union. Russian Federation has no such zone. On the other hand, historically, we have a free trade zone with the former Soviet republics within this Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS in English, yes? And that means that by a miracle, by development of history, these two states, independent states, Moldova and Ukraine, became participants in two incompatible, if you like, free trade zones. It is for them to decide whether that profound and comprehensive free trade zone with European Union is enough to maintain and to secure sustainable development of their countries. If we take Moldova, I see that there hasn't been a substantial, a visible improvement in the economic situation of Moldova.